If you are watching this report on TV or on your mobile phone, you are committing a sin. And if you take part in political activity, as a candidate or as a voter, this is forbidden. And never keep photos of yourself at home or allow anyone to take them. New York, the dazzling city known for its nightlife, its crowded streets, and the Statue of Liberty. In all its modern lifestyle, its urban sophistication, its fast pace of life, architecture, and advanced technology, and yet only about 300 kilometers away from New York lies the state of Pennsylvania, which is home to the largest Amish community in the world, a religious group that has voluntarily given up modern freedoms and abandoned contemporary technology in order to preserve their traditional way of living. Our team boarded a train from New York to Pennsylvania on a special mission to learn more about this group in a journey that felt like stepping into a time machine. Out his tender mercy, who through life has been my guide. This Christian community stands as a clear example of people who willingly hold on to their old beliefs, choosing freely to remain committed to a way of life built on traditional farming and handcrafted work. They continue to follow these long-standing practices with intention and devotion, quietly setting aside the modern developments and technological changes that surround them in the world today. But how far can a community cling to the past in a world ruled by technology? Pastor Gregory welcomes us into his church to share his experience living among the Amish and how their beliefs differ from the Protestant Christianity followed by most Americans.
They're just people that are living like in another time frame. Most people, we go with the flow. When cars came along, we gave up our horses. When cell phones came along, we gave up our landlines. We just go with all the technology, but they have held back on that on purpose. I think because they want to have a slower lifestyle, more thoughtful lifestyle, more contemplative, and not be influenced by the things that go with these advances. It's a mixed bag. There's blessings in the technology, but there's also some dangers as well, and they try to stay away from that.
The Amish believe that good deeds in this life lead to salvation in the next. Unlike most Christian churches, baptism is not done at birth, but at the age of 18. At that age, one chooses whether to remain with the Amish community and be baptized, or leave it with no ties.
Well, I was born Amish till I was 5, and then my parents changed to the Mennonite church. Playing with cousins wasn't a problem at all. Children get along with children. But when you get into adults, especially my grandparents, they were really strict, staunch Amish. We didn't eat at the same table with them. I remember one time we had one big table, but they put a divider down the middle. Mom and Dad sat over here, and then the rest of them. What I do now is just respect their way of life.
And the people are generally very personable. They don't like their pictures taken, but they will be willing to talk to you. A man named Sam Stoltzfus. He lives here in Gordonville, Lancaster County, next to the church where I pastor. But this man is a resident historian for Gordonville. He's written Lancaster County Amish History is one of them. And he recently, I think it was 2016, he said, he took a trip to Germany. and he has pictures, and it's like a travel log of his experience in going to Germany. So things don't get collected. People give me notes, or I write notes, and I put the envelopes in.
Pastor Gregory arranged for us to meet his Amish friend, the historian Samuel, who agreed to speak only if his face was not shown, as photography conflicts with Amish beliefs against portraying humans.
We don't believe in having our photographs taken because of the graven image. 10 Commandment, second commandment. We have 350,000 Amish people in North America. They're scattered all the way from Montana to Delaware to Virginia or New York State. There's Amish people in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Mississippi. Then there's also Beachy Amish. They don't drive cars, but they have tractors. Almost 40,000 Amish people in Lancaster County.
The Amish are known for their distinct appearance. Men grow beards but shave the mustache, and women cover their hair and dress modestly.
We always wear plain clothes, plain suits, plain shirts. Now we don't always make our own clothing, we buy some. You can buy some tailor-made. And dresses, the girls wear white before they're married, organdy we call it. Then when they get married, then they wear colored dresses. The white dress when you get married is laid back and that's their funeral garb. Or when a lady gets to be 35 and not married, then she'll switch over to colored dress.
The Amish trace their origins to the 17th century when a Swiss spiritual leader named Jakob Ammon founded the movement, aiming to return the church to its original teachings and old religious traditions, believing the Mennonite church had strayed from them. Ammon also wanted a simple, humble lifestyle aligned with the teachings of the Bible.
The Amish people came here in the 1700s to Pennsylvania, Lancaster County, at the same time that many other people were coming, Christians who were experiencing persecution in Europe. William Penn and others had purchased land here and made land available for them to come, where they would have religious freedom, freedom to teach their children, have their own schools, and live like that. Many of them were farmers and stayed to be farmers throughout most of their life and throughout the history of Lancaster County.
They all came from Germany and Switzerland, Europe, and they all taught Pennsylvania Dutch. And that's English and German and Dutch together. So that's why they taught Pennsylvania Dutch.
It's very interesting how at that time, back in the 1700s, that the communication got from America to Europe that, oh, there's freedom here, and why don't you come and live here? But many of them did, and records exist of boatloads of immigrants coming from Europe to America, arriving in Philadelphia, moving westward as land became available.
We've been keeping that pretty well. Our church services are in Pennsylvania Dutch and German. Always in Pennsylvania Dutch. 50% German. Our scriptures are in German. Our communion services are in German. So it's just something we've always kept.
The Amish prefer to have their children schooled in their own private schools, and that is permitted here in Pennsylvania. Usually their students go to about the 8th grade, do not go to further higher education. Some of them might continue into high school.
We've seen this from day one. We started our own schools in 1928 because the sports were taking over and they wanted the Amish to go to high schools, and we didn't feel that was very necessary. Well, we have to go to school till we're 15. In 1956, that was a big issue. Finally, they got together and how they were going to do this, and now they have a 14-year-old school. After you're through the 8th grade, you go to 1 year to that until you're 15. And then they teach German, farm economics and things like that. The ladies will learn cooking, housekeeping, which they have anyway. They knew it anyway.
Nowadays, the ministry taught more English than High German. It makes it easier for everybody. But they still use a lot of German too.
Amish girl will go to Amish school, and when she gets out of school, she can be a helper when she's 15 or 16. If she's a helper for a year or two, she has the groundwork to be a teacher. They don't all make it, but 90% of them do. They do a good job.
Their schools are usually taught by a younger single lady, and they do have a training, although it's very short, a training program for their teachers. And when they get to the point that they might marry, she should no longer continue teaching, because if she's married, she should be living at home, taking care of her children.
The Amish face many challenges, including the high cost of land, which pushes many away from farming toward working in shops. Here in the central market, young men and women sell their local products, attracting visitors from all around.
I grew up in Lancaster. I think the market's such a great part of our history. It's actually the oldest, largest continuously operating market in the country. So that's like a really cool thing.
The Amish today work with other people. They participate in community activities, especially with local fire companies. All of our fire companies are volunteer. The Amish have lovely farms, and they have farm buildings, barns, and they need protection, and so they cooperate with other people in the community as well.
Here's a fire company. The Amish help a lot at the fire company.
Some people confuse the Amish with the Mennonites, as both share European roots and have similar beliefs. They are essentially spiritual cousins.
I'm not Amish, we're Mennonite. We're not quite as strict. We all have electricity and telephones, but we don't have cell phones and no computers. And we don't have the beards, and the dress is a little different. We all drive horse and buggy too. Now there's some Mennonites that drive cars. There's a lot of different groups of Mennonites.
We always work together with the Mennonites. So if it goes to the worst, it comes to bat, sometimes those people will step up for us, which gives you a good feeling. We do a lot of comforts for MCC. It's sort of a quick put together blanket, quilt. Ukraine, Jerusalem. They send a lot of stuff over to those cities. People don't have enough to eat or have enough to wear.
The Amish maintain strong social and economic ties, especially with the Mennonites. The Amish refer to anyone outside their community as outsiders, regardless of background.
It's a mix. They'll use our services as English people. They will use our technology, our transportation when they need to, but they rely upon themselves mainly for their day-to-day living in their home life. Some of them actually have vehicles, but not for their own purpose. They use it for business purposes. I worked for a hardscape company up in New Holland where the owner had 3 big diesel trucks. He had cell phones, he had office computer equipment and so forth, but he himself would have to be transported by a driver to get to the job locations to give the estimates and then to check up on the work.
Amish buggies differ in shapes and types and uses, There are summer buggies, winter buggies, family wagons, cargo wagons, and more. Pa accompanies us to show us some of his personal buggies.
Hey, boy. And the rain will go through the There's the blinking lights. It's the headlights. This is actually my buggy here. I use this quite a bit in the summer. Their head and face. Helps a little for the rain too. You look around more and gets you a good ride.
We believe in using horses and on the road and in the field, because if we would start buying cars and buying tractors, we would go way too fast. Our young folks, when they get 16, we get them a horse and a buggy, and that's the way they travel.
Amish like to stay as a community. They have very strong families, and so they don't drive cars because that would take them away from their family and away from the community, perhaps into a city where there might be other influences that might not be to the benefit of their families. And they've kept using horsepower for their farm work as well. And so you'll see horses out in the field pulling plows and different kinds of equipment all the way.
Packing up the dreams God planted in the fertile soil of you. Can't believe
it can add up to the price of a car when you have a horse and buggy together. They have different upholstery. He said they can have seating, front row seat, you have a back row seat. So the single guys, he was just going to have a front row seat. He didn't need a back row because he wasn't married.
But we'll keep you close as always. It won't even see you go.
The buggies all have halogen bulbs now. In the last 20 years, they got much brighter. The headlights and the tail lights, so you can see them. And the boys that ride scooter, I meet a bunch of them going to work, 5 or 6 of them going to work in the morning. And they have a light they put on their hat so they could see, and then they have a flashing light in the back for safety.
Among the Amish, forgiveness and rejection of violence are core values, to the extent that they do not join the army. Even so, their punishment is harsh for those who break their rules. For example, if members violate Amish church guidelines and refuse to confess or leave the group, they face expulsion, which in their community is called shunning, as happened with the Miller family.
They keep their horse feed in here. Chicken leg, you go into an Amish-owned store to buy something, they won't take money from you. You have to lay it on the counter and they'll pick it up. They won't take it out of your hands. They'll ride in a car with ex-Amish, but you're not allowed to drive. They can't. I have to drive because I was never baptized in the church like my parents were. So it gets a little touchy, I guess.
'Cause our hearts in we'll keep the love that keeps us strong.
mud sales every year, and they could have $5 million coming in. They sell everything imaginable, household quilts and farm equipment, and they sell horses some places, and quilts could bring over $1,000 for quilts and auction them off. But because it's a fundraiser for the fire company, they don't mind paying twice as much as what you would maybe buy it at a store. You might get 5,000 people showing up at the sale, English and Amish. They go together, and Mennonites, and sell buggies and horses.
And we got the Wilbur out of a 35.
Mud auctions, as they are called among the Amish, are one of the major traditional events in their culture. These auctions are held every spring with many community members and neighboring groups participating. They sell many items including handmade furniture, farm equipment, horse-drawn wagons, and local foods. This event is a chance to raise donations, and also a special social occasion where Amish people and visitors meet to enjoy the auction and exchange stories and experiences.
A harder life, riding a bicycle, pushing a scooter, which would use one foot on the platform, and the other foot they use to push. I mean, it's a lot harder. It's slower. It's a slower life. And I said to one Amish lady, you know, you're kind of away from the world, kind of a thing. But she said, you know, but we're still tempted. We're still tempted. We're still, you know, it's part of life. Not that all of it's bad, but it has its influence. It changes things. So I think as long as they're able to maintain their independence to some degree, they'll be fine.
You on my side, Ben, or not? 22, not 5. And now 22, 22, 5 and 9. So $22 straight down the middle. Number 100. Number 100. 22, 5 and 9. So $22 left side.
The Amish are a very important part of Lancaster County culture. They contribute in many ways to our history and our culture now today. We like having the Amish in Lancaster County.
They are people that add to this area and make it unique. And if we lost the Amish, Lancaster County would be just like anywhere else.
But in this case, from birth, the announcement was made that Jesus is a Savior, a deliverer. In fact, his very name means salvation, means Savior. They shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
For many, this community misses out on much of life's pleasures, but as the Amish say, sometimes the simplest things in life are the best.